everybody. Sunday afternoon, 3 o'clock, 3:30, something like that. And for what I've got planned for a tent setup tonight, somewhere right out in here where I generally hang the hammock, I need to get busy. Glad you guys come along this time. Stick around a little bit. This might be funny. First thing with this setup, we get an 8x10 on the ground. And as you guys can see, this end is a bit higher, so I'll be sleeping with my head this way like I did. This is pretty much where I put the Adventure Ridge 3-man, 4-man tent. Really a good 1-man tent. Okay, changed my camera angle so I won't have to be moving it. Tarp there. For you guys that haven't watched my older videos, I used that at the 2 nights at Panther Creek as a nice big open rain fly. And later on, I done a 18-degree gear check at 220. And I used it then to make a nice little envelope looking thing, including my wood stove. This pitch is a little bit different. It'll accommodate the wood stove, but I wanted to try something else. I've had a piece of plastic at the house for a while, really thin, drop cloth type. And I'm gonna make it a super shelter. I'm not gonna keep a fire going all night, but I'm gonna make it a super shelter. Let's see how this goes. Obviously, I'm not getting in any hurry to set this up. I think you could probably do it 15 minutes, maybe, by yourself. The first thing we do is make a big mess out of the 12x16. We put the 12 deep, 16 long over the 8x10. Take your corners of both tarps, stake them together. Now we need to find a stick the right length. You guys already know that no grommet line matches up from one tarp to another. Never happens. Or at least for me it doesn't happen. So I got a stick. It's about the right length. It was actually one that I had already cut here for just sticking on the end of the tarp. You can see maybe out there, I'll show a little closer later, I just pulled a stake halfway. And then I go to the next one available, and it just happens to be, 3-4 inches behind the 8x10 tarp on the ground. That's okay. We don't worry about the little stuff right now. Same thing on this side. Same deal. Let me put the stick under it. Normally you'd guy that stick out to the front towards the fire, but I have this nifty little ridge line stretched between these 2 trees right here over my head. I'm just going to come to it. Okay, I was getting a camera full of sun. I'll do just a quick walk around with the stick up there, ridge line pulled up to this one. I do that quite often. It's high enough up off the fire. I don't think there's any issues with that tonight. You can see corner to corner. And then here you can see just past corner. What, 5 inches? Whatever. If you put up this configuration, you'll see. With just a little bit of tucking in and pulling here in the back, a couple of strategically placed tarp clamps, you can call it quits right here with a pretty good sized shelter. But I like to do a little twist to it. Just make it just a little bit more user friendly for a multiple day camp. I'm not sure about this one. I'm just going to see how it flies. Okay, I'm losing sunlight. Looks a bit more tent-like when you get 2 poles in there. Now let me get across the back. I'll show you that when I get it tucked in and staked down. I think you guys are going to like this. Should have a vent right up there in the top also. I went around back and I bring in the actual corners from the edge. This is actually the far corner of the tarp. Same thing on this side. And at this time I'm going to take a ridge line and I'm going to run it right out this flap stuff here. And I'll show you that from out back. Just a quick little season hitch with a square knot for a holder. You can see with the setup this time I'm using 2 stakes well pushed into the ground. Just a couple of trucker hitches right now holding things together, because this angle back here may change just a little bit. When we start drawing these sides together and pulling everything inside, yeah, you'll see. May need a little adjusting out here though. You can do this without tarp clamps, but you can see I drew both bottom pieces, just the extra, till they met in the middle, pulled them tight, tarp clamp, staked them down. Now you can, well, let me get back here. You can see here, I got to move the guy line out, guy lines, until we get a nice tight pull on that, all the way from the peak. Oh yeah, that's a crutch cushion under there on top of that so I don't rip my tarp. I know those little clamps have a specific name. I call them teacher clips. That's what I use. I'm going to gather this up and put the clips on it up to the last 8-10 inches there, and you'll see a vent happen. With the clips on there, I'll accept the end here. I'm going up between the 2 pieces of tarp right there. We'll break off a stick and put it in there to hold that open. And you got vent all the way at the top if you open it up on the inside. Let's go in there. If you do a pretty decent job on the outside, you got a couple of rolls there to the inside that's pretty close to the ground. But if you're a bugaphobe, you can always put a couple of tarp clamps in the middle and pull it down tighter. If you've done a pretty good job on the outside, this is what you see on the inside. Just a nice even seam where the 2 pieces come together. And if you get right here, you can put a stick in there, open it up, and you can't see it, but you're open to the outside right there. And I need to tighten that up just a little bit. You get the general gist of things, and I'm almost finished with it. This is pretty much the setup. You could live with this. I could live with this. Not too bad a setup for an old 12 by 16 and a older 8 by 10. You see the stick there and how it holds that open. All you gotta do is take the stick out and pull it together if you don't want it to vent. And I use a tarp clip down here just to clean it up, keep it from rattling very much if the wind starts blowing. Yeah, see that alteration there? That was an old Coleman tent that didn't make it anymore. And I knew this would work. I've got to custom cut my stick a little bit tomorrow. It needs to be shortened up just a little bit. Goes from center to center. I don't think it helps shed rain any, maybe. But you got a vent in the back. You got headroom in the middle. I guess it's 5'6", 5'7" in the middle. Something like that. Put a couple extra stakes in here and here, just to hold me down a little closer to the ground. And of course, like every other setup like this, you're going to have to go around and adjust at some point in time. Well, it's time for me to, as you can see the sun going away over there, it's time for me to adjust into firewood mode here and get ready to do that. I'll finish this Super Shelter front up here in just a little while. I know this seems like a lot of steps, but if you're going to stay somewhere for a few days, you know, it's nice to have a good sturdy shelter. And this one works out that way, and I'm standing up in here. Let's see if I can spin this around. Right here at the pole. So that's not bad, is it? Tonight, we're going to be using the wool blanket with the Meramite 40 in it. The pillow, way back when I had the just the two-man Napier tent, I got a couple of self-inflating air mattresses that had pillows on them. You know, the mattresses are long gone, they didn't last. I cut the pillow off of it. I used it the last time in the hammock and it worked out good, so I'm going to try here on the sleeping bags tonight. Got a fleece wrapper to put around it, going with the self-inflating, that's supposed to get to 2 1/4 inches, I believe, and a piece of Reflectix and the old heavy-duty tarp. Viewing out of there at the fire pit, I'm really no further away than I generally am with a hammock, so that's not going to be bad. Nice view for the morning too, huh? Well, you guys can tell it took me a minute. I haven't set this up in a year, and I've never put the plastic on it like this. What do you think? Comes all the way across just like that. Oh yeah, car camping more or less. Made a little adjustment to the tripod there. That fits quite well. Air mattress has blown itself up. Yeah, I still got the vent open. Leave it open for a little while. Just sit out here and actually go gather up some more firewood. I'm going to need some if I check out the Super Shelter, right? I'm pretty sure somewhere right out there I'll be able to get enough for tonight. What do you guys think about the tarp tent? It's one of those things I can't leave well enough alone. You always got to do something to it. We'll see what the Super Shelter does tonight. Let me get out and get some firewood together. You can kind of see my space in here. And the reason that it is so dark is because it's after dark. I don't know what time. Sun went down a while ago. I had to get the fire going again without you guys. I had some camera issues. I am not at all sure what it was. Seems to be fixed now, I hope. Getting a little shot of the temperature inside here. You can see it is 55, coming on 55. And before I shut this thing down, it was 50 in here. I know I'm blocking the wind. Now let me set that outside and we'll see what it looks like in about a half hour. I'm getting a little hungry too. You guys kept me late putting this thing together, but I really wanted to show it to you. And I wanted to spend the night in it too. Hadn't had a pipe since early afternoon. Yes, feels pretty good. You can see I'm sitting here still in a t-shirt. Of course, I am blocked completely from the wind. That does help, rather than being underneath a tarp open on both ends at least. Don't get me wrong, I don't believe I'm going back to tent camping. But I believe there'll be a couple more times this winter. I'll do this same setup and bring the wood stove. Let you guys see what that looks like. Looks like my little light slid back up there. I think I decided just to go with a light dinner. Dig through the bag and see what I can find quick. And then I'm going to go out there and feed that fire a little bit and sit around it. Maybe we'll have a little talk. I kind of like this little chair too. Nothing fancy tonight, folks. Just a little bit of ramen. A shot of Texas Pete. And just a dash of Mrs. Dash. I got to move back. Fire does feel good sitting out here for sure. It's 48 degrees. I set the thermometer over there about 3 feet away from the Super Shelter. I think I'm going to take it back in now and see how warm it's actually getting in there. It has made a difference. Just besides being out of the wind. Glad I got the camera figured out. Started to bother me there for a minute. Moon's just coming up into the trees over there, so I'm saying maybe since we got a full moon, or last night, tonight, or tomorrow night, I'm not sure. It looked pretty full last night. Yeah, it's probably 7 o'clock. I had fun setting that up. Now let me get my ramen made and dinner done. And I'm going to put a little more wood on the fire, including this one. This is almost like sitting by the fire. I built a pretty decent little blazer there. I didn't have a chance to get a whole lot of wood together, so excuse me. It's gonna have to kind of take what I can get there for fire. And I know the focus is crazy. Yeah, I want to apologize for the last video about the volume from video to video, and it's pretty obvious the Sanyo camera is not near as good as this one. Feels pretty good in here. When I pull the thermometer in, it's 46. I'm supposing it's going to get down to at least in the high 30s tonight. So I'll be sleeping just in the warmth I brought with me. And I'll check here in a few minutes. The fire really just got going. I'll check and see what the temperature is over here on my sleeping bag. I know you guys can hear that. I've just been enjoying sitting here in the super shelter. My fire's just about died down out there. Put a little wood on it a couple of times. I don't know, it's probably 9 o'clock maybe. Close to it. Without the lights on in here, I can see the moon through the tarp. It's pretty cool. Right now, it's a tolerable 52 degrees right there on my bunk. I put my insulates on just to be comfortable. I'm going to go out there, stoke the fire up, set for a few minutes, and have a little shot of hot water. So far, this works out pretty good. Make a few improvements here and there. I think it's going to work out just fine, though, as long as I don't get cold from the bottom. I believe that Reflectix is going to work just fine for that, though. I hope so, anyway. Last time I checked outside, it was 42. I don't know, I think it was 30. Excuse me there. I think it was 32 this morning. Excuse me, not 32, 34 at the house. I'm all messed up. When the fire's blazing up out there pretty good, you can get a foot away from the plastic sheet there. Feel the heat coming through. It's obviously warmer in here right now. Even with very little fire out there, it's a good bed of coals. Not much wind right now at all. Feels kind of nice. I'm going to get the hot water jug, head outside, and stoke the fire up just a little bit. About time, huh? That didn't take too long to get her blazing again, but it took every stick of wood I had, which wasn't much. I'll get a little more light here in a minute. I hope you guys enjoyed the setup today. Fun. Fun to put one up again that I hadn't in a while. Sometimes it's nice to go back to the older stuff, isn't it? Not always, but sometimes. I've had some real bad internet problems, and it's put me way behind on my viewing time. And behind on a couple of other things too. One thing that I've been wanting to do for the last couple of videos that it didn't just happen when I wanted it to. A really good friend of mine from back in the Navy days showed up on my doorstep. Wasn't able to spend but just a day. He was traveling back up north. But it was really good to see him. It had been a year and a half or so since we got to visit last time, and everything was going good with him, and I believe he's in a new job situation now. Sometimes that's a good thing, isn't it? So before I forget, Dave, Spongy, you guys up there at the Pennsylvania power plant. Dave says you guys watch. I'm glad that you're in the viewing bunch. Appreciate it. Tonight, all the boys up there in PA, if you're able to, step out on the porch. Have a little snort with me. And everybody else. Nice cool evening. I believe that was a coyote right over the edge of that field a little while ago. Only barked one time, or howled at one time. And I just happened to have the camera in my hand. Here's to you guys. Have a good evening. Oh, I like doing that. I like doing that a little bit too. But just a little bit. I'm going to sit out here just a little bit longer. I don't know whether I'm blocking this thing or not. Considerable bit warmer in there than it is out here, ambient temperature, when you step away from the fire. Wish you guys were here to join me. Talk to you in the morning. I didn't get laid down good here. It sounds like turkeys. Just walking through the woods, squawking. Good morning, everybody. Looks like it's going to be a nice one, I hope. Yeah, it's supposed to be close to 70 degrees today. Crazy, ain't it? Not that I'm complaining, but just odd for November. Or, excuse me. Wow, I lost one, didn't I? This is December the 4th today. I guess it's about 8. Had me a bowl of oatmeal. Kind of swept up a little bit. I forgot how much stuff you actually track into a tent. Been a while since I slept on the ground. I was trying to think. I was over at the hobo shack. Been a pretty good while. I really slept good the first part of the night. Not sure what time it was when I woke up. The moon was back over this way quite a ways. It was just a little bit chilly. Not so much from the bottom. I think it was kind of a both. Just kind of got chilly. I don't think we had much breeze last night, but it's blowing a bit this morning. It's got the plastic shaking on the front, which I'm going to open up here in just a few minutes. Been sitting in here kind of nice out of the breeze this morning. 40 degrees. Feels cooler than 40 degrees in here for whatever reason. I had one issue with the pole last night. Nothing major. I'm going to make another trip to the car today. I brought some more stuff with me. I thought, hey, just load up. You never know what you're going to have out here. And at some point in time this afternoon, this evening, tonight, depends on who you listen to, you're supposed to have some rain. It figures with it being so warm today, the wind's supposed to be out of the south, so I kind of expected. It's Monday morning. And I'm pretty sure if the weather goes according to the weatherman, we're supposed to have some snow showers come Thursday, Friday. No accumulation. But it's going to be down in the low 20s. And I think the high one day is only supposed to be 40. So looks like wintertime is trying to come in, doesn't it? Down bag and the wool blanket was a good combo last night. My feet stayed warm all night long. Of course, I had my sleeping socks on. I'm going to sit here for a couple more minutes and open the place up and get out and walk around just a minute. Stretch my legs a little this morning. We'll see what happens today. Well, I did get up moving around. Opened my vent up. You can kind of see the ground out there, I think. Yeah, right there. That worked out well last night. I did get quite a bit of condensation in here, though. Yeah, hung my lights up there. Yeah, this morning I kicked open a little piece up there. Of course, I got the whole side open too, but it'll be a windy day today. 20-mile-an-hour plus, I think. So I went around, done all my stakes again, just to make sure. I actually took this bow out this morning and took 3 inches out of it. Make it a little more friendly there, I think. Not stretching the tarp so bad. And it's going to mill about for a while. Going into the afternoon, the wind is still blowing pretty good. This has been my view most of the day. Nah, just kidding. I've done a little walking around looking for some more dead standing. Found a couple that, I should say a couple of small ones that I can cut up with my little saw. And let me show you what else I did. Oh, if I can get out of this chair now. Oh, that's a thrill. I did poke up the fire back just a little bit. Redrove the stobs to the back and added one. They're supposed to get some wind tonight. I opened up the teepee, let it air out a little bit. But woodshed, simple. No bushcraft involved there, folks, really. Just the size I wanted. You see, I've got the had the vent open all day on the back. I'm pretty sure I'm going to close it down tonight. Supposed to get some rain and the temperature drop. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to be in the morning. I want to show you something right now that I talked about a bunch of videos back. You'll understand in a minute. When I talked to you guys before about the camp shovel that I bought, shovel is a very useful piece. 10-inch blade in there that clips into this end of the handle. Never really used it. It's just a straight cut blade. On this end, the saw comes out. You guys have seen that. Very useful. Now we come to the hatchet head. Doesn't have a bad shape. I put a fair edge on it. Nothing spectacular, but good enough to split small stuff anyway. I guess the long of the story is, it weighs 11 ounces. Don't even think about splitting anything with it, really. Handle's good and sturdy. Got a nice grip on it. I think I said before, that's good if you're felling a tree, you can use it for a wedge, but you don't use it for much of a hatchet. I suppose if you had a big hammer to pound on it. I generally don't carry that. I wanted to bring it this time because I was bringing a whole lot of stuff anyway, and show you guys 12 bucks on eBay right now. Except for the hatchet, yeah, it's definitely worth 12 bucks. If you're looking for a hatchet, this ain't it. Alright guys, one more shot at the camp. Yeah, too much time on my hands and too many little pieces of tarp. That's a 7x7. And part of the reason I put it up, you can't tell, and I'm fixing to walk in there under it. Got everything there kind of set up for the evening. Clean fire pit, and it's sprinkling. Supposed to be leading up into a full-blown rain, I suppose. I'm gonna sit down here. Oh. Yeah, I got enough wood together, but we're supposed to keep up the between 10 and 20 mile an hour winds. So I don't know that I'll be building a fire, but I'd almost like to sit out here and watch it without getting soaking wet. Might still, you never know. Well, the sprinkling didn't last too long, half hour. Maybe trying to just a little now. That little sprinkle session didn't last very long. Sounds like it's trying to sprinkle a little bit now out on the leaves. I can't hear it in here on the tarp. Been kind of an interesting day. Fun. Like yesterday, putting this thing up. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I said the word fun. Call me a Boy Scout if you want to. Not sure what the wind's going to do. It's up and down right now, probably a steady 10. You can just hear it in the tops of the trees. I'm a little bit leery of lighting a fire. Right now the wind's still coming out of the south, which relative to me right now is just over my right shoulder. And it's supposed to turn and come out of the west, which would be that way a bit. So I think I'm going to cook dinner inside. I'm getting a bit hungry. I ain't got a clue as to what time it is with no sunshine. We'll break into the food bag and see what's up. Not sure you can hear or tell what that is, but it's the wind blowing. And I'm having me some Spam Hawaiian rolls and some raisins for dessert. I didn't realize this was going to be this dark. Oh, red light. What about that? Nice little flood. Kind of pushes the limits of the little sterno apparatus there, but still works. The dinner went well. And I do believe that the smoke can smell me cooking. He showed up just about the time I was getting ready. Excuse me. Take my stuff out of the skillet. The wind's still blowing pretty good. Sprinkled again a few minutes ago, but just a sprinkle. I suppose that sometime tonight we'll probably get a bit of rain. Might even get a thunderstorm. At least they're not calling for 50-mile-an-hour winds tonight. I'm staked down pretty good though. I got faith in the setup. Doesn't flop too bad. Now that porch thing I put up out there, that may flop a little bit. This is all pretty tight though. Feels pretty good in here right now, out of the wind. Of course, there again, you do have to remember it's, excuse me, it's still 59 degrees. There again, I don't know, I should have asked Smoke what time it was, but then. Can't see much of the moon tonight either. Pretty cloudy. Had a good day. Really did. No hurry to get nothing done. No big hurry to get somewhere else. Just kind of hang out in the woods. I am going to have a shot of knot water tonight. No, I will not be blowing any in the fire. The only fire I have right now, you guys seen it. It doesn't put out much light. If you're like really cold, you can kind of warm your hands by it. Those little Glade mosquito killer things. Makes a nice tea light though. When you can find tea candles that will actually last for a minute or two. I got some of those that were what, like $1 for 50 of them. And you get what you pay for there. It's not too windy or raining at your place. Step out on the porch and have a little snort. Kind of missed that poof of fire. So far, it's been a fun trip. It's probably going to be kind of wet tomorrow. And I'm planning on hanging out anyway. long as I don't have a river of water running through here, I think I'll be okay. Kind of got things pulled up and dammed up. Maybe she won't pass too much water as long as it don't rain real hard. Of course, around here this time of year, hard to tell. Now talking about snow for the weekend. I'd like to make it back over for a snow camp. I'm going to be able to this time. Good brother of mine from South Carolina is coming in. Have a little visit with him. Hadn't seen him in pretty close to 2 years. Been a while. Looking forward to it. I think I'm just gonna sit here, relax, and listen to the wind. Haven't heard any trees come down or anything like that. No strange critters. So I would imagine the critters are all gonna be laying still tonight somewhere. Pretty nice to sit here out of the wind completely. Looking for a good night's sleep. Thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it very much. Talk to you all in the morning. I believe it's going to rain a little bit. How's the fellow supposed to sleep with it doing this? Quite well here in just a minute. You know it's coming a pretty good rain when the frogs start heading to high ground, huh? This is the only place I've had any issues right here. There he comes. He's trying to find a place out of the weather. I think I got the leak stopped for right now. Yeah, there you go, buddy. Just hang out there. A little He's hanging in there. Frog strangler. Good morning, everybody. I slept in 2 shifts last night again. Slept really good both times, though. Kind of see the wind still moving things around here a bit this morning. Right now it's probably on about 10. Got a few gusts every once in a while, but it's not all that bad. I stayed dry for the most part. Well, all my sleeping gear and everything's dry. The only thing that really got wet was the floor. A couple of spots that I was wondering about yesterday when I was setting this up. They were going to deal with the rain on the particular little slope I decided to pitch this on. Where I'm laying there is reasonably flat, just a little uphill. Right over here in this front corner is definitely uphill. And that back corner back there is definitely downhill. Dry is the main thing. Didn't wake up in the middle of the night in a puddle of water. Did have a seam leak in the old tarp last night. Oh, nothing major. I'll be able to tape it up. No issues. This tarp is almost 3 years old, so it's been used quite a bit. Has a right to have a few holes in it. I don't know whether I'm going to stay today or not. I kind of need to get back toward the house and see what's up with my internet, or lack thereof. I don't know whether I said it before, but I'm going by over at the boy's house stealing his internet. So I'll try to keep my comments answered and everything. Hopefully that'll work out okay. I'm going to put this movie together probably tomorrow. But you guys don't need to know that. You're already watching it. I'm going to show you this corner and the corner back there at the end. Show you where I had some leaky issues last night. And kind of why. Had a little issue with this corner right here because I tucked wrong here to make my gutter when I hooked to the tarp. And some of it down here came running in. So I took one of my water bottles, stuck it up under there, and kind of made a little dam situation so it couldn't come this way and couldn't come this way anymore. And that seemed to do pretty good for that. No more issues there last night at all. You see where I've tracked in and out this morning a couple of times. It's about 8:30, I guess. I left the vent open last night, and you can see there I strung a little ridge line. That kind of helped. Left that vent open. And my other issue was puddling up back here in this back corner. Let me get around there and show you back over this way what was going on. Can't hold the camera still. But the water coming across the front, I guess, decided it was going to channel right down through here. And I had folded the tarp up this way. Yeah, that just made a nice little gutter. Came all the way back here to this corner. And at one time it was puddling up right there. See one of my sop up rags. But I just folded that over the other direction. Gave it a place to go out there, and that problem was solved. Had another little issue right here. Well, not an issue, really. There's no standing water, but that the ground's pretty damp right there. Which you can see back over in that corner there. Still nice and dry. That was my only issues. Well, besides the ridge line. And it was just a slight drip. I slept better with the pillow situation last night too. Kind of see here. Brought a pillow from the house. And I used these straps on the end of the air mattress to hold it in place. This pillow here does fine in the hammock. Don't have to chase it in the hammock. It always keeps coming to you. Here I was trying to catch up with it all night going across the floor. That solved that problem. Plus that other pillow is just a little bit small for ground sleeping. I'm a side sleeper and don't have a whole lot of clearance to keep your head from cocking all sideways. We had some thunder last night, but the lightning show wasn't as much as I wanted it to be. Thunder rolled through the valley. I heard the top come out of something down there. I'll see that on the way out probably. I'm just going to slowly pack up and get everything together. Get all my stuff in here together. I don't feel bad, or I wouldn't feel bad about leaving this set up over here. There's nobody going to be in here but the critters probably. And I don't think they'd really bother it. They hadn't bothered anything else here. I'd be looking for a dry place today though. Yeah, I'll just slowly pack everything up. Put all my wet stuff in the trunk of the car. Deal with that when I get to the house. I think it's supposed to be 50 degrees today, give or take. My thermometer says it's 46 outside right now. It's a little bit warmer in here. I decided to expend a little bit of alcohol this morning. Let me show you real quick here. Yeah. Using that for a little bit of heater. Excuse me. Doesn't really heat it up in here, but it takes the moisture out pretty quick. And it is alcohol. Yes, it does produce fumes that you don't want to breathe, but I am vented. And I got this little corner pulled back here just a little bit, so not too worried about the carbon monoxide. Besides that, I'm awake. Fixing to get out of here, I think. Get back to you guys in a few minutes. Show you what kind of mess we got outside this morning. It's not a mess. Everything's wet. Actually, the little porch thing that I stuck up there yesterday pretty much done what it was supposed to. The wind was a little rough. It did flop some. Not too bad. My fire pit's dry. And my little stack of wood that I had up out there, it's still dry. I'll stick it over in the lean-to for the wood before I get out of here today. And you kind of see there everything held together quite well. Got most of my stuff back to the car. And I think for convenience sake on this, I'm just going to kind of wad everything up and put it in the floor. Make a little pack out of it. The woodshed stayed fine last night. No real issues. The front of that should have been down, but I tied it up. So, let me get the rest of this stuff broke down, and I'll see you guys on the way out. Folks, with everything wrapped up, you can see where I was kind of dry most of the night, and I had this spot right here. Nothing I could really do about it because of the roots over there, but hey, it's what it is, isn't it? And it was a good night. I enjoyed that rain and the thunderstorm. That was kind of the main reason I came over here. Saw that coming and just couldn't help myself but try this setup again. 2015, New Year's, I done a camp and used that setup with the wood stove. And it was quite nice because I didn't have any rain at all. And it got down in the 20s. A little bit overcast, but you know, yeah, that was a nice 5 days up there. Land between the lakes. I'll take care of all my wet gear when I get back to the house. It's really not all that bad. The one tarp that I had stretched up over the fire, it was practically dry. The one on the ground, though, it's not dry at all. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know I did. Kind of like to stay another day, but I think discretion being the better part of valor. It's supposed to rain. It's been sprinkling on and off here all morning. It's, I don't know, noontime, 1 o'clock, something like that. Thanks for joining me, everybody. Till next time, just waiting for the next big adventure. Oh, yeah, I'll do a head count on the spikes and the teacher clips down in the description. Thanks, guys.